assembling. So, the main task which you were set was to produce a new and exciting music magazine, manipulating the research you should have previously carried out in order to create a product strongly influenced by the common codes and conventions of similar existing media products. In order for this product to be a success in the real world, it would need to have addressed and attracted your target audience, having gone into detailed analysis about what makes them tick. What I wish for you to tell me, therefore, is how you created your new music magazine to entice and engage your audience in the best way possible, and therefore why I should hire you to be part of my team at the UK's largest magazine publishing company. No pressure. Well, thank you, Lady Sugar, for the opportunity, and if it's okay, I'd like to start by pointing out how I discovered who my target audience actually were. I'm sure you're aware of the UK Tribes website, courtesy of Channel 4, who strive to break down the various social groups and subcultures among the youth of today into labelled categories based upon common interests, aspirations or passions in life. This website introduced me to the urban segment, which was comprised of three main groups: the trackies, trendies and the get paid crew, all of whom are regular listeners to the R&B genre of music, the genre of my magazine. Therefore, from undergoing some further primary research into each of these categories, I got a taste of the sorts of things they liked, such as their style and fashion sense, where they like to shop, what artists they regularly listen to, and therefore who to feature in my magazine, as well as the current magazines that they read, so that I could match any elements of these and therefore attract an audience similar to those of competing magazines such as Vibe, XXL and The Source, for example. Right, so with all of your research over, how did you then go about attracting your own target audience to your own magazine? Well, as you know, I had to design a front cover, contents page and double page spread, or in my case it was double page spreads because I ended up making 3. These pages are all commonly featured in many magazines, but with my magazine focusing on a niche market, so only those interested in music and the music industry, the micro details like the masthead, for example, played a very large role in attracting my target audience. You mentioned the masthead, which of course for all magazines in the industry right now has an extremely large impact on readership, as it's the one thing which stays the same throughout and which all members of your target audience will remember it by. Therefore, it must have something to do with your chosen genre of magazine to even try and tempt your audience to buy it. How then did you decide upon a title and style that would attract the urban segment in your case? After extensive research into the magazines they currently read, such as Hip Hop, Vibe and The Source, as well as lifestyle magazines that they read like Ebony and Jet, it was clear that I had to research more into the culture of my target audience to come up with a good name that they would like. So with hip hop culture specifically and typically associated with the black African population, and with titles like Jet, as in jet black, and Ebony, connoting dark colours and black origins, I decided to look up other synonyms for the word black. And one word specifically caught my eye, and this was onyx, spelled O-N-Y-X. And after looking up the definition of the word, I found out that it's a type of black rock consisting of many different coloured layers inside, and I knew straight away that this name was for me because of the fact that I wanted my magazine to incorporate not only R&B but also soul, hip hop and some dance and pop music, which resonated well with the different layers theory. So with a name I was sure my target audience would appreciate, I then compared the length of the 4-letter word onyx to those of other existing products like Vibe and The Source and XXL, like as you can see here. Onyx, it's like very short and big, and then you look at existing media products like The Source and Hip Hop, and they sort of have the same thing going on. And so I realised that the short and catchy sound of Onyx would also appeal to my target readers, as it's easy to remember and simple to pronounce. just like The Source and Hip Hop and Vibe. With regards to the font chosen, I decided to use a sans serif style and capital letters stretching onyx across the width of the page, right at the top, underneath the strap line, because I realised this was commonly done in other magazines and it would therefore attract my audience in the same way. Interesting. And what else exactly did you do on the front cover to make them instantly desire to pick up your magazine? Well, I decided to choose a colour scheme based on many primary colours, specifically red and blue, as I knew that these would really emphasise certain words in my cover lines and draw the reader's eye instantly to the best features in the magazine. The colour red with black also resonated quite well with the genre of my magazine, as red is often associated with like lust or love or danger, which many R&B artists use as a catalyst to write their songs, and my audience would therefore be drawn to these colours instantly. In addition to the fonts and colours used, I also had to make sure that my register and mode of address were appropriate to reach my target audience. With the age range I'm looking to target falling to people from 15 to 25 years old, it was important that I used language which engaged interest and kept the audience constantly on their toes, so I used techniques and punctuation effectively, such as the use of rhetorical questions and words like exclusive in my strapline, and also used it quite a lot in the contents page to highlight the main cover lines, because this would make them look at that stuff and instantly they'd be more attracted to it. And also with words like exclusive, it makes the audience feel more special and subject to inside information that only they can get from that specific magazine. I also looked at how other magazines promoting different genres of music went about talking to their target audience to see what I wanted and didn't want to do. For example, We Love Pop, which is aimed at a completely different target audience. A younger female audience uses many speech bubbles and like quotes from the celebrities, and they use exclamation marks and rhymes to appeal to the young, naive and creative minds of their audience. On the other hand, you've got Hip Hop Weekly, which is based on the hip hop culture, and it's got an entirely different mode of address, using the same font really well all the way through, just in different sizes and using, again, exclamation marks and questions extensively, but not in speech. However, We Love Pop entices their readers by revealing the latest revelations and gossip on celebrities, which is what they're interested in. With my target audience therefore being too old for something like We Love Pop and more into music rather than the celebrities and fame that come with it, like the audience for hip hop, I wanted to take ideas from Vibe and The Source using simplistic language that gets straight to the point and describes what the target audience want to know about the content inside. So I frequently used single monosyllabic words in large sizes, such as win, online, reviews, free download, subscribe, which I can show you here. So I used quite a lot of big but short words to just instantly grab their attention, because something too long would have just lost their interest straight away. I also try to use a bit of the imperative tone to jump out at my readers and instantly hook them onto the content they are reading, whilst also making them want to explore via different platforms like online. And so the language of my product has therefore helped to generate and maintain my readers' interest in the content of my magazine. Okay, so that's enough about language now. I'd like you to tell me about how you chose your images to appeal to your target audience. Well, the front cover, in my opinion, was the most straightforward part of my whole project. From research, I knew that I would have to use a mid-shot of my model on the front page, as this is the most common type of shot in all music magazines, as demonstrated in these few Vibe magazine front covers. So the mid-shot is the most commonly used. An important aspect of the framing and composition that I found had quite a large impact in addressing my target audience which included the gaze and the pose of my model. She wore a tight red bodycon dress, which I knew would add to the sex appeal of her and of the magazine, and therefore entice my male readers quite a lot. But her clothing and jewellery also attracted the rest of my audience because it matched the iconography of the R&B genre, as many R&B artists such as Beyonce or Rihanna all wear these types of clothes, and they would therefore be popular and familiar to my target audience. And also enhancing the colour of my model's red lips also played a part, as I deliberately wanted them to be placed in the centre of the cover, like this. So the framing of the shot meant that they were right in the middle. And so the artist was portrayed in the R&B genre, and this I thought would attract the target audience that I'm looking for. So with the front page under your belt, how did you then go about maintaining this high level of attraction throughout your media product? Well, with what the source has done here, keeping the same fonts consistent from the front page to the contents page, I also tried using the same fonts on my magazine so that my reader could be familiarised with the magazine and therefore be enticed to continue reading it. Also on my contents page, I presented my main cover model in different attire, so from here to here, and with a different posture as well, keeping the red nails and lips intact. And the fact that she's using her fingers in like a hushing way makes the reader want to read more about this feature in the magazine. There are many elements on my contents page which are designed and created specifically for my target audience of the urban segment. Firstly, after discovering that they are the kind of people who spend their free time gaming, watching films or listening to music, I made sure to include plenty of social media on my contents page, such as there's a section here devoted to online exclusives, and over here they've got an option to subscribe to the magazine online. With the trendies especially wishing to keep up to date with the latest technology and modern status symbols, I also implemented a chance to win the latest iPhone 5S because I thought that that would attract them as well. Also promoting a free album download down here, because I knew that from my research and from UK Tribes that they spent a lot of time doing this. This would attract them instantly because they're all about getting things fast, free and virtual through sites such as SoundCloud or other medium that allows them to watch films and get music for free. I also added some design elements to the page in the hope that this visual aid would attract my target audience, such as there's a yellow arrow down here, as well as a symbol up here, and the play button over here, as well as the CD, which emphasises the cover story, so it's something visual to get them attracted to it. And these kind of things are bound to make my audience feel familiar with the magazine and feel like they have something certain to look forward to in every issue. And I highlighted this by also adding an in every issue box with the things that they would know would be in every single issue of the magazine. Finally, what I tried to do was vary the types of shots that I used to maintain my readers' interest. I tried to move slightly away from the bog standard mid shot and try to be more adventurous, with a long shot up here, and I also have a low angle wide shot. You can't see that very well, but that's for the album that I created. The framing of each of my images was shaped so that I got things in that I felt would attract the target audience, such as the jewellery and certain parts of the mise-en-scène, such as the strayed bits of hair in this photograph, because it was important for certain things to be in the shot. Therefore, the composition really played a part in attracting my target audience as well. So, with regards to your double page spread, there must have been other things that attracted your audience to them. In order to keep a consistent house style, I had to make sure that my masthead was present on every page, whether that be through deliberately placing it on the top of the page or including a web address next to the page number at the bottom of each page, as I did end up doing on each of my double page spreads, and down here as well. This is common in all other music magazines of my genre and would therefore directly address my target audience. The colours red, black, white and blue were also consistently used on each double page spread. Some colours were used in the images and some used in the fonts and body text to highlight certain words. This is most obvious in my pull quote, as I made the font size distinctively larger and in bright red, instantly drawing my reader's eyes to the most passionate quote of my double page spread, as you can see here. And what about the actual contents of your double page spread? How did your article entice the reader enough to keep them reading those long-winded 3 pages? Well, I didn't wish to decrease the length of my article, as I had chosen the heavy but intriguing topic of a band breakup, and my cover story was based upon one of the members of this band launching a brand new solo career. Therefore, it's an extremely exciting feature for my target audience to read, and I kept them interested by constantly referring to the followers of the band, assuming that my target audience knew who they were, so as to make them feel part of the R&B culture. And with regards to my layout, my first double page spread background was consumed by one image, with my main artist against a brick wall background, a setting usually associated with grime, hip hop and R&B, such as in music videos, etc. So this would have appealed to my target audience. My artist is also wearing on all 3 double page spreads fashion forward and stylish outfits. The dress and heels that I chose specifically making her appear as a dominant, powerful and successful woman in the music industry. The final element, which I thought would really engage my target audience with the magazine, was the album CD I created, as well as the tour poster on my last double page spread, as my target audience is all about supporting local talent, and if my cover artist is performing, they'll want to know when, where and why, and they'll instantly be attracted to that event. Therefore, I think that my double page spreads work quite well to address my urban audience in the best way possible. Well, thank you for answering all my questions here today. And you know, after hearing how you incorporated different techniques and really thought about the things you were going to feature in your contents and adapted the colours and fonts to the preferences of your audience, I'd really like to summarise on the note that the unique selling point, I guess, of your media product would be the endless supply of content both in online and print, and the mix-up between supplying your readers with features of artists' real lives but not failing to stick to the core roots of the music, with the added edge of slightly different subgenres like soul and dance, like you said, and not sticking and restricting yourself to one label. I think that those in the urban segment who stay true to R&B but also like to be a bit more adventurous will definitely be attracted to this magazine. And with that, it gives me great pleasure to tell you that Shannon, you're hired.